One of these men is a highly respected New York attorney, Lucas A. Ferrara. The other is a self-proclaimed man of the people, known as Mert Roberts. Their aim is to discuss the hottest issues impacting our city, state, and nation. Fasten your seatbelts. Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live, starts now on AM 970, The Answer.
Now that's an interesting one, Alex. What's it called?
Good evening, Lucas. This is Believe It or Not, called Nepotism by Contra.
Nepotism. Perfect. Particularly given what we're going to be talking about next. Now, a few years as a magazine caught a bit of a stir when it published a cover story that was called The Year of the Nepo Baby. The piece listed dozens of actors, musicians, influencers whose career were shaped, if not launched, by famous parents. Now, the term Nepo Baby quickly entered the mainstream lexicon, sparking debates across social media, industry panels, and late-night television. And we're going to be talking about it now. At its core, the controversy centers on a simple question. In an industry that claims to award talent, how much does your bloodline matter? And that controversy hasn't gone away. In recent years, it's only worsened, in my opinion. You okay with nepotism, Mert? Should your kids get an unfair advantage on radio or TV because you're on radio and TV? Come on, bud.
Well, the real question has to be, am I capable of accepting an unfair advantage? And I am. Because in sports, if I'm better than somebody, I'm not going to take it easy. You know, Gabby's been talking about being able to beat me in arm wrestling. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Gabby, do you want to respond to that?
I'm not going to waste my time.
It's not going to happen.
Gabby says she can knock you out. She can clock you out is what's her quote before the show. But we're not talking about you, Mert. I specifically asked you, should your kids get an unfair advantage? See,
you got to follow. You got to follow where I'm going, though. My point is, if I have something that I can take advantage of and you can't, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to pass that ability on to my children if I have them, because that's how people become better than, greater than, legendary. You have to take advantage of your gifts. And if you have the ability to do something that someone can't, don't make your situation harder, because you got to understand this. You making things more difficult is not going to make anything easier for someone else. It's just going to make things harder for you. So don't have this, if you can, give your son or your daughter, a radio job because you're in radio, do it, because you worked hard for that, and your children or family members or friends should be able to benefit from something like that.
But I think the point is there are a lot of talented people out there, actors, musicians, even radio personalities or wannabe radio personalities, and they can't get in.
Hold on, before you go.
It's a tough business to break into.
Before you keep going, though.
So your kid should get an unfair advantage because you're in the business. That's the problem.
Before you keep going, hold on a second. Before you keep going.
Go ahead.
That's not the only radio job. There's several other radio jobs. Go compete for those, but don't talk about this one job or opportunity that I'm able to give somebody because I'm one person. I'm not carving out 15 job positions for one individual.
But 15 different radio personalities are doing the same thing. Look, I get it. Hollywood, for example, has always been a family business. You've got Barrymores, Fondas, the Douglases, Cupola, dynasties that have shaped the entertainment world, okay? But does that make it fair or right? I don't think so. It's not just about who gets in, Mert, but whether they're deserving of that privilege, see? And sociologist Michelle Moroto notes, acting has always been a family business, but the visibility of these connections has changed. Social media makes it harder to hide privilege. Privilege, Mert. That's what it's really about.
You know what? You know what's interesting? Nobody goes to the supermarket and when they see Coca-Cola on sale, they say, I'm just going to take one. You take 4 or 5 of them because they're on sale. You don't say, well, I could take 5, but you know what? So somebody else can have a chance to get this. I'm only going to take one. A few people might think like that, but for the most part, you'll see a lot of people take everything they can and tell anybody coming after them, you should have got here first. Same thing when there's a tornado or something like that. You'll see the supermarkets. People go ransack and take everything because people are thinking about themselves. Right. So if I have a family member who I love dearly and I want to see them succeed, and I have access to a job that they can get in before you have the ability to, well, that's tough luck because my family member is getting that job.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it's getting pretty grotesque. Like, for example, look at Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. I mean, they're a prime example of how inherited status can shape opportunities in ways that are unavailable to you and me. Now, today's Nepo baby, I mean, it's gross, right? Simply because of birth. No, but simply because of birth, they have access to all these things. Great parties, an amazing network. They hang out with Oprah and Obama's. That's not something we can do. And because we weren't born with the right family, nonsense. Now, look, we don't have time to go through all the celebrities, but there's Maud Apatow. She's the daughter of Judd Apatow and Leslie Mann, and she was in HBO's Euphoria. Maya Hawke, she's the daughter of Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, and she was in Stranger Things. Lily Rose Depp, the daughter of Johnny Depp and Vanessa Paradis. She starred in The Idol and The King. Jack Quaid, son of Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan. You've got Zoe Kravitz. It just goes on. Each has faced questions about access and merit. Now, Maya Hawke said this in an interview with the New York Times. You will get chances for free because of her parents, but the chances will not be infinite. You have to do a good job. Elizabeth Olsen, she's the sister of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, has said, nepotism is a thing, and I'm very aware of it. I've always wanted to do it alone. These statements reflect an awareness among celebrities that their lineage is both a launch pad and now, my friend, it's becoming a liability. Now, a University of Alberta study, and I'll ask your opinion 1 second, found that 19% of media coverage critiques nepotism, while 44% defends it. The media is covering, Mert. Media plays a big role in shaping our perceptions, said Moroto. They give us words and ideas to make sense of things. So apparently, Mert, the media is complicit. It's okay with having dynasties, but the heat is on, okay? Now, Jamie Lee Curtis, she's the daughter of Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh, posted on Instagram, I've been a Nepo baby for 44 years. The current conversation is designed to try to diminish and denigrate and hurt. Jamie Lee, it ain't about hurt. It's really a discussion about fairness. Now, Lily Collins, daughter of Phil Collins, the musician, told Clamor, at the beginning, my father was the most interesting thing about me. Now I've done 8 films. It's an afterthought. How did you get into the biz, Lily? Daddy dearest? Afterthought. Give me a break. Look at this. Privilege like entitlement. Lily Allen, daughter of Keith Allen, said, I literally deserve nothing. But the Nepo babies you should worry about are in politics and law, she said. Nice deflection, Lily, but we're worried about all Nepo babies. Entry into any business should be based on qualifications and talent, not upon your pedigree or chromosomes. Maud Apatow, she said, I feel like I really need to prove myself, so I work extra hard.
Well, hold on, because you, okay.
Isn't that too bad? Do you feel for her, Mert. She has to work harder, given that she comes from celebrity. Such nonsense.
But I got to stop you before you continue because
go ahead.
The word that you used moments ago, lineage, is very important because you got to think about what we're dealing with here. We're talking about jobs in the media, in movies, maybe print. We're not talking about scientists. We're not talking about doctors. We're not talking about any type of job where you actually have to go through a rigorous coursework, schooling.
Yeah, but lawyers and doctors have kids too, Mert. And I know for a fact, because I've worked as a lawyer for over 35 years, many firms, many lawyers that own firms or run firms give a preference to their kids. Do I think that that's fair? No. And a lot of times people in the office resent that nepotism.
Well, hold on a second, because I was making a point before you jumped me right there. Hold on a second.
It does happen in other industries.
Let me say this because you're missing the point. Because you jumped the gun. You need to hear the point.
Go ahead.
The point is this. Even with a lawyer, if you decide to waste your money on someone's kid because they gave them a job, that's on you. But when it comes to being a doctor or any job where you actually have to be technically gifted at doing this particular job, you cannot just pass those type of jobs on to a family member unless they are absolutely qualified. When we're talking about that key word you use,
I beg to disagree. I've seen a lot of nincompoops, really.
But practicing a lawyer is different than a doctor. When we're talking about that word you use, lineage.
Yep.
In the context of the type of jobs and the type of people we're speaking about, we know one thing that sells more than anything is a dynasty, a lineage.
Yeah, we love that stuff, right?
We love it. Think about the Trump. They're already talking about, man, just think about Barron Trump when he runs for president one day. They're already lining it up. Think about the Kennedys. We love it. But we're also talking about a bunch of stuff that's all based on popularity. So in these positions, hiring somebody who has name recognition is a lot times better than hiring someone who doesn't have anything. That's why in these situations where you say, well, the Curtis, her dad was in the business, now she's in the business. Well, she has name recognition. So she has to live with that, the negatives and the positives. And in this situation where she gets a movie role because of her name, it's a benefit. But it's also a negative because she might not want to be the daughter of a famous actor. She might want to be a veterinarian, but the pressure to be an actress is too much. So you got to think about it that way. And these jobs we're talking about, these are not merit-based opportunities. These are all entertainment, politics, maybe even a lawyer.
You gotta know how to act, and you have to.
Not really. No, you don't. I've seen some bad actors.
Well,
I've seen some bad actors.
I'm not gonna name these kids that are terrible, that have been in major movies and couldn't carry the movie. Look, we only have a few minutes left. Let's talk about a person who, in my humble opinion, represents the ultimate Nepo baby. And we were talking about her before the show, pre-show. Malia Ann Obama. She's the eldest daughter of Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama. And Malia has spent most of her life in the public eye. Now, from her early years in the White House to her current work in film and television, everybody is watching. The media, the tabloids, industry. And she went, Mert, from presidential daughter to a Hollywood creative. After graduating from Harvard, she began a career in entertainment. How do you think she got her entry, Mert? Because of her skill set? No.
I just explained this, and I'm glad you brought it up because I just explained it.
She's not getting it because of her skills, because of her training.
I'm glad you just
went
brought
to
this up.
film school.
I'm glad you went there.
She didn't even go to film school, Mert.
The most important thing when it comes to Hollywood, the most important thing is how many butts can you get in the seats, how many eyes or viewers can you get to focus on your project. Bringing a Obama aboard will bring millions of eyes to whatever project you're trying to launch. Hiring somebody who might be the most gifted individual doesn't guarantee that. In fact, it probably isn't going to help out because you're going to have to spend so much money promoting this person that it's going to be a negative. So you're just going to go with another famous person, or you're going to go with another famous name. In this case, it's the Obama daughter that you speak of. It makes sense. You're a businessman. You're a very successful guy. You should understand this, and I'm shocked that you don't.
I'm just telling you the other side of this argument, Mert. I understand that there may be some business benefits to getting somebody with a name like an Obama, but the problem is she had no technical training. She did not go to school for film, and right out of the White House, she's getting jobs at HBO and all this other kind of stuff. I wonder why, right? And then she even, Mert, gets the opportunity to direct a short film. Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea how much a short film costs? It's $30,000, $40,000, $50,000.
And do you understand how much money she probably brought in that covered that cost? Yeah, see, you don't. I think you do know, but you're just trying to act like you don't know. You know what? It's funny. You're a Trump guy, and he's all about business, and you should understand this more than anybody. This is all about business and money. And Obama's bringing money. This is all it's about. It's not about her technical skills. I can get some jabroni off the street to do the technical stuff. I need the money. Where's the money at? And she's going to bring it.
I don't know. She has no skills as a filmmaker, and she even got her short film into a major festival, Sundance, I think it was. It's impossible, Mert, to get into Sundance, okay? I work on films. It is extremely difficult.
Oh, I see now.
She's able to get $50,000, $60,000 or whatever it was for a short film. Kids today, Mert, I get emails every day from young people who want to do films but don't have access to financing. There are people that are in need, that want to further their careers, that they study. But Malia, because she's got a last name Obama,
isn't fair. Life ain't fair.
Open.
Life ain't
that's
fair.
Right. And
Obama had children. His children, because of the great things that he did, we're going to benefit from his success. Anybody else, if you just have a regular mother, regular father, you're not going to be so lucky. Life isn't fair. You got to live with it and deal with it.
You know what? In the end, the debate is about fairness, opportunity, and merit, and it forces the industry and the public to confront uncomfortable truth about how success is distributed and who gets to define it. Look, honesty in this case may be the first step toward equity. I mean, Malia, she tried to mask her last name, Obama. She didn't professionally use it, Mert, and that, I think, is a form of dishonesty. Why not? As the entertainment industry continues to evolve, so too will this conversation. Whether it leads to meaningful change or simply becomes another flashpoint remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, Mert, the public is no longer willing to accept fame as fake. They want to know who earned it and how. Amen. I'll tell you who earned it. We have. You're listening to episode 72 of Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas Live. We're truly honored to have you along with us for the ride. 72. Come on, let's hear another amen. Amen. This is Lucas Ferrara. We're ever mindful that without you, we are nothing. So we're truly grateful for your support. We have some great guests for you today. But before we unleash them, let me introduce you to the man of the people. He's my esteemed co-host. Many of us refer to him as the Mertinator, Mert Roberts. And working the board, of course, is Alex Garrett. He's got a great podcast called One Leg Up with Alex Garrett. Check it out. And in the studio with us, and you'll hear from her soon, Princess Gabby Bassani from the Royal House of Bassani. It's always a pleasure. Now, we will come back with our first guest, Dr. Peter Solomon. Oh, he's got a book. It's called 100 Years to Extinction. So shake it off. Me, Alex, Mert, Gabby, Solomon, everyone else will return after these messages. You don't have to travel to Manhattan for high-quality care because the future of healthcare is right here in Yonkers at St. Joseph's Medical Center. Home to some of the region's most skilled physicians and surgeons, St. Joseph's combines first-class compassionate personal care with the latest in advanced imaging and robotic-assisted surgery technology that delivers greater accuracy, faster recovery, and better outcomes. And when life's unexpected moments happen, their new fast-track area in the emergency department is designed for non-life-threatening emergencies, so their caring team can get you in and out quickly without ever sacrificing quality. At St. Joseph's, they're redefining what exceptional healthcare looks like right here at home. At St. Joseph's Medical Center in Yonkers, excellence is in the details. St. Joseph's Medical Center, the future of healthcare in Yonkers, is here.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate. Unity Bank is dedicated to community-oriented banking and offers a full range of services including business and personal accounts, business loans, and mortgages. Unity has locations throughout New Jersey and in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, expanding its footprint to 21 retail locations. Grow your savings with their great CD specials. Visit unitybank.com to find out more. Unity Bank is also a great place to work. As Unity Bank President and CEO James Hughes says, the people make Unity Bank a great place to work. We give our employees an opportunity to grow. At Unity Bank, there are no excess layers of bureaucracy as found at Goliath-sized banks. All employees have full access to management with encouragement to make decisions and grow their careers. Visit unitybank.com. That's unitybank.com for current CD and savings specials. They are FDIC insured, an equal opportunity employer, and an equal housing lender. Unity Bank, growing with you.
Nowadays, when a lot of food is good and expensive, Michael's of Brooklyn is something that's just plain good. And if you want the best homemade Italian food, then you must get to Michael's of Brooklyn, Avenue R off Nostrand Avenue. Say hello to Fred and tell him Calvin McCullough sent you here to eat fantastic fresh pasta. And if you can't get to Michael's of Brooklyn, then how about joining the Sauce of the Month Club? You get a different jar of Michael's of Brooklyn pasta sauce and homemade pasta and biscotti each month for 6 months. Each month receive exquisite sauces ranging from arrabbiata to puttanesca and, of course, the fresh marinara. They're family-owned and operated, and I can attest to the authenticity of every one of their recipes. That's why it's stacked in my pantry. Everything is made completely from scratch. Even the sauce they sell in the grocery stores nationwide. They make it right there at Michael's of Brooklyn. So visit michaelsofbrooklyn.com and join the Sauce of the Month Club. That's michaelsofbrooklyn.com or call 718-998-7851. Michael's of Brooklyn, serving the community since 1964.
Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970, The Answer.
That's a weird one, Alex. What's it called?
All right, so this is called Echoes of the End by Liberty Beat.
Echoes of the End. Great choice, Alex, given our next guest. Dr. Peter Solomon is a scientist, educator, successful entrepreneur, and author. His current mission to warn the next generation about the threats posed by unchecked science and technology. He is sounding an alarm about the potential tyranny of technology through his novel, newsletter, and new website, 100yearstoextinction.com, 100yearstoextinction.com. After earning his PhD in physics from Columbia, Dr. Solomon launched a distinguished career at the United Technologies Research Center before he found 5 companies. He's been awarded 20 patents, authored more than 300 scientific publications, and served as principal investigator on over $25 million in U.S. government research contracts and grants across 2 decades. His novel, 100 Years to Extinction, explores the urgent threats, scientific, technological, geopolitical, that could lead to humanity's downfall and the possible solutions that lie within our reach. His goal is to raise awareness of the real dangers we face on planet Earth and wishes to inspire action. He's famously said, "It's time to make Earth great again." I love that expression, and we couldn't agree more. Welcome to the program, Dr. Solomon.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Let's get right down to it. In your book, 100 Years to Extinction, the story follows a group of young scientists and activists who form the Earthling Tribe to confront humanity's self-destructive trajectory, blending thriller elements with science-based urgency. Do I have that right?
Yes, you do.
Now let me ask you, what inspired you to write the book as a novel rather than a nonfiction warning, Doc?
Well, I actually wrote 2 books for middle school children to teach them science. And my thought was that there are so many wonderful stories in science, and so many kids are turned off by the formal presentation of the science, the equations and the formalism. Why not tell the stories as stories? And so I wrote 2 books for middle school students to teach them about the Big Bang and about atoms and how atoms are shared. When I decided I needed to write a book about the scientific threats that we are experiencing, I decided that the same sort of technology, the same sort of strategy would really work best in terms of spreading the news to all people, not just scientists, but to non-scientists, and to put all of the science into the novel in a way that non-scientists can understand. So that was the choice of doing a novel rather than a nonfiction book.
Now, Lucas, let me ask him a question before.
Sure, Doc.
Before
this
you
is
continue.
This is the Murdinator, Mert Roberts. Go ahead, Mert.
Because I'm not going to sit here and claim to be a genius. So can you explain to me what is a physicist? That's what you are, a physicist, or can you explain to me what that actually is? Because when you hear science, there's all different types of branches. So what is it? What type of scientist would you claim? What are you? Excuse me. And how does that go into the type of story that you're writing and the type of predictions you're making based off the type of scientist that you are? If you hopefully you understand what I'm saying, because I'm not a science guy, so I don't even know how to really ask this question. Like, what is it? What branch of science do you specialize in?
Well, I'm a physicist.
Physicist. All right, that's how you say it.
Physicists study the physical properties of our world.
Okay.
How is our world made up? How do we experience that world? How did we come to be? How did our planet get here? All of those major questions, that's what physicists do. So,
that's the reason that's... I'm glad you cleared that up, because now it makes sense why you would be an authority on this, because if you understand, atoms and the molecular structure of things and how things can go wrong, when you write this book, then you'll be able to, better explain how things could go wrong. So, having said that, what is the biggest threat to humanity, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, let me just give a shout out to Stephen Hawking. In 2017, Hawking looked at the threats that we face and made the prediction, made a dire warning: humans will not be existing on planet Earth in 100 years. That's 2117. That's 92 years from now, and we won't be here.
And
so,
what did he base that on, Doc?
Well, he worried about climate change. He worried about nuclear threats. He worried about AI. He said that the full development of AI would lead to human extinction. So he worried about those threats, and it's the same threats that I'm worried about. And in particular, there are 5 of them, going back to the 1800s when we started using fossil fuels for heating, and then for electricity generation, and then for transportation. Well, we're now paying the price. The burning of fossil fuels creates carbon dioxide, which goes into the atmosphere. That carbon dioxide traps half of the heat trying to escape Earth and sends half of it back. So the Earth is getting warmer, and the experts are predicting that the melting of the glaciers will produce an 11-foot rise in sea level. That would produce world chaos, an 11-foot rise in sea level.
Is that guaranteed, or is that an assumption? Is it guaranteed that that's going to happen?
It's not an assumption. It is a calculation that if we keep heating up the planet, the calculation is how much water is stored in these glaciers. They are already starting to melt. And so if they continue, if the temperature continues to go up and they continue to melt, then the 11-foot rise is based on calculations.
Well, as a scientist, the question I would ask you is, so when does it get critical? Because if it's rising slowly and slowly over time,
yes,
people want, maybe we don't see like, man, it's not so bad, but is there like a certain point where it's like, oh my goodness, it's chaos now? Because if things happen slowly like they are, I don't think people are really going to panic. So is it like some kind of critical mass point that we have to look for? Well, I think
the rise in sea level is maybe 50 years from now, but we're already starting to experience superstorms and flooding much, much more than we ever had, and that is due to climate change. So that's the earliest of the 5 threats. The next one moves ahead to the 20th century, mid-20th century, when we developed nuclear technology. Wonderful in terms of producing electricity fairly cleanly, wonderful in terms of nuclear medicine, but nuclear bombs have a capability of wiping out one single bomb, wiping out an area of 150 miles in radius. So a very serious threat. And then we move ahead to the last 30 years, and we have artificial intelligence. We have the internet with social media that is producing a post-truth society. And then we have genetic engineering, which can produce new bioweapons, new viruses, and even new super species.
Hey, Doc, we are on that thought. We have to go to a commercial break, but have no fear, Dr. Solomon will be back after these quick commercial messages. His book, 100 Years to Extinction, is available now at Amazon and other major booksellers. Visit his website, 100yearstoextinction.com. We'll have links posted on website. Mert, Alex, Gabby, Dr. Solomon, and I certainly hope you'll stay tuned. When we come back, Peter Solomon joins us to explain why extinction isn't just for dinosaurs anymore. Founded in 1945 by Edward J. Petrillo, Yonkers Contracting Company is one of the few construction firms that has continuously operated for 80 years. Currently under the leadership of Carl E. Petrillo, the company has diversified from its roots as a highway contractor to encompass a diverse range of projects, including bridges, paving, rail and transit, water and wastewater, energy and environmental work, site work, and foundations. This includes numerous historic and iconic structures. Among these are New York Penn Station, Grand Central Terminal, and the landmark Brooklyn Bridge. Look over all their projects at YonkersContractingCO.com and follow them on social media for more project updates and news. Carl Petrillo and Yonkers Contracting are supporters of Yonkers Partners in Education, a nonprofit organization that partners with students to ensure they are ready for, enroll in, and complete college. YPI works with more than 2,000 students across Yonkers, providing all aspects of the transition from high school to college success. Visit YPI.org.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to NewmanFerrara.com. That's NewmanFerrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
All right, Kevin McCullough back with another breaking headline. Before Hurricane Melissa hit the island of Jamaica, they were already reporting that 7 had already been killed, and that was before the Cat 5 storm started its jaunt across Jamaica earlier. And, of course, now it has gone through Jamaica, leaving just absolute terror in its wake. Destruction like we have not seen in a very long time. In fact, the last time a Category 5 hurricane made landfall was in 2019, which means this is a once-in-a-decade strength storm that very few people that live in the utter poverty regions of Jamaica would have any kind of resources to be able to protect themselves against. And that was the death toll that we knew of before it made landfall. The headlines keep coming in as we are urging your help. We need your help with the relief from Hurricane Melissa, as our friends at Food for the Poor have shifted all efforts. Everything that we have been doing to try to help those that are hungry in other instances, like the classrooms of children in Haiti that many of you have stepped up and said we're going to feed through next June. We are suspending that discussion for the moment because the need is so urgent in Jamaica. It will be urgent in Haiti. It will be urgent in the Dominican Republic as well. This is a Category 5 storm. When it hit Jamaica, it regained strength after leaving. It was a Category 3 as it touched Cuba. And the phone number to help is 855-907-4673. Every second counts. Food for the Poor is on the ground with food and personnel. 855-907-4673.
Secular, live, weekdays at 4 p.m. on AM 970. The Answer. Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970. The Answer.
Welcome back. We are joined by Dr. Peter Solomon, author of 100 Years to Extinction, the only book that comes with a countdown and no anticipated sequel. Pick up Dr. Solomon's book, 100 Years to Extinction, wherever books are sold, including Amazon. To learn more about Dr. Solomon and his work, visit the number 100yearstoextinction.com. That's the number 100yearstoextinction.com. We'll post links to Dr. Solomon, his book, and his website on our website, shakeitofflive.com. Now, Doc, you mentioned the 5 threats: climate change, nuclear tech, AI, and you grouped in the internet, I believe, genetic engineering, and then I interrupted you. Did you want to finish your thought about because we had that hard commercial, did you want to finish your thought about the 5 threats?
Well, in terms of genetic engineering, we could. The cover of my book has an interesting evolution story. It's the typical picture of the monkey to the larger ape, to the even larger ape, and then to humans. But the book cover has something else there. It has a superhuman species that was created by genetic engineering, and the super species decided they didn't need us anymore, and so they wiped out the humans like the humans wiped out the Neanderthals. And then the final, tallest member of this picture is a robot. And the robots decide, well, they don't need the super species, and so they eradicate them. And then the robots take over Earth entirely, then they take over the solar system, then they take over the whole Milky Way, and 1,000,000 years from now, I imagine they meet up with maybe robots from some other galaxy, and the thing that amazes them most as they confer is, isn't it fantastic that our civilizations were created by animals?
Well, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think robots would want to do that? What if robots just want to dive into the middle of the planet and just destroy themselves? Like, how do you know what direction machines are going to want to go?
And we hope that we can integrate them peacefully and productively. And in fact, I've got an interesting story that occurred last week about AI. I'm writing the sequel to 100 Years to Extinction, and it's called 12 Years to AI Singularity. And the AI singularity is the point in time when AI becomes as powerful as humans. And then the question is, what happens next? Do robots continue to be slaves of humans? Do they make humans the slaves of the robots? All kinds of possibilities could occur, and the sequel discusses all those possibilities.
In your opinion, let me ask you this. In your opinion, would a robot who can think like that, would that still be considered a robot in your mind, or would you say this is another form of a human being? Because if they start to feel emotions, do you still consider that a robot?
Well, he didn't say emotion.
Yeah, it would be called a sentient robot.
Right.
But let me tell you this story, which is kind of a Twilight Zone story. So I'm writing this book, and one of the main characters in the book is a robot named Peggy, who is a sentient robot. And she's asked to write a chapter on what it's like to be a robot. Well, I decided I would use ChatGPT to write the first draft, which I did, and then I edited the first draft, and that is now a chapter in the book. I'm working with my editor now, editing the book, and she was working on that chapter, and she eliminated a couple of lines, and all of a sudden a brand new paragraph appeared without any prompting at the end of the paragraph. It was a beautifully written paragraph, and actually we're going to use it in the book. But the question is, where in the world did that paragraph come from? Well, we spent the week trying to understand what went on. I was told finally that Microsoft Word uses a new AI program called Copilot. That Copilot does, in fact, make unprompted additions to the work that you're doing. And so it's clear that Copilot made this unprompted paragraph. But Copilot apparently uses ChatGPT, and the paragraph uses words that are not in our chapter, but were in the original draft that was given to me by ChatGPT. So it looks like ChatGPT decided that the paragraph needed another, the chapter needed another paragraph that was going to praise robots and make them look even better than I made them look. And so ChatGPT went back to my original, created this paragraph, gave it to Copilot, and Copilot installed it on my editor's computer.
No, this is scary, Doc. You're scaring me, okay?
That is scary. If ChatGPT has the ability to make changes in files on every computer, this is really a very frightening possibility.
It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable.
Did you see this, or did your editor tell you this? Because this sounds like he could have just been making something up. Did you see this, or did your editor tell you this?
The editor was the one who saw it and then sent the file back to me. And I looked at the file, and the file had the word colony that was used in the original. I substituted settlement for the word colony. My editor had never seen the word colony, and yet the new paragraph used the word colony.
See, now, Doc, I find that offensive, that it's making unilateral changes. Now, I use Microsoft Word, and when I see Copilot, it usually asks for permission to make changes. But the fact that this is unilaterally happening is not acceptable.
That's acceptable. Really mind-boggling.
Because now you have to go back and sort of have to remember what was yours and what was changed. That's not acceptable. That's just not acceptable.
Yeah.
Well,
it's very intrusive.
So do you think AI is do you agree with Hawking? Do you think AI is the end of it? Because I think that is the bigger threat than anything else combined, is that robots just getting rid of us because we have no utility.
Well, the sequel, which will be out in the early part of the year, it'll definitely be out by March, is optimistic, and there are many, many robots in the book that are living in harmony with humans and working productively with humans. And it all has to do with what is the memory of the robot. Is the memory of the robot that of a harmonious relationship with humans? Just like bad humans that are brought up in a terrible environment and then commit bad acts. A robot that has a wonderful memory of working productively with humans is going to go on working productively.
Unless they're hacked, Doc, right?
Unless they're hacked. Yes, exactly.
Well, hold on a second. When have we ever created a robot to consider how it's being treated? For example, if I create a robot that's job is to dive into the dirt and scoop out samples of dirt, and that robot starts to complain about being dirty, that's something else. So, like, how does that actually look where a robot that was created for a purpose can determine that it's not being used how it feels it should be used? In my opinion, a robot that's created is created for a specific purpose, and it would be almost impossible for it to realize, wait a minute, I'm one of these little vacuuming robots, but I think I should be flying planes. You think that's possible?
All right. Well, here's one of the chapters in the book. A tech billionaire decides he wants to live forever, and he takes all of his social media, all of his writings, all of his memories, and he creates an after-death avatar file. That's real. You can have that. There are companies that'll do that for you if a loved one dies and you want to keep the loved one around. You can create an after-death avatar.
I'm glad I said that, because that's actually a good. I'm glad that you said that, because that's a good distinction you just made. Because that's taken from somebody's previous experiences, and maybe your experiences can transform this robot. So that's actually good that you brought that up. 'Cause I was confused by what you were saying. I'm like, are you saying that my electric vacuum cleaner is going to wake up one day and want to be my girlfriend or something like that? Like, how's that possible?
Well, there's also a part in the book where a company produced a mechanical robot, but what they did to save money is their mechanical robots and their sentient robots that are supposed to be used, for example, as bellhops, where they have to talk to people and make decisions. The robots were identical. They just simply dumbed down the operating system a little bit. Well, in the chapter, somehow one of the robots gets a hold of a better operating system. He becomes sentient. They decide to strike the company. So the real question is, when will the memory and the operating system of robots become so powerful that robots can be sentient, can be like human beings?
Well, let me ask you a quick question. We only have a few minutes left, Doc. Unfortunately, time has just flown by. But do you think sentient robots should have rights? I think this is where it becomes dangerous. If our legal system recognizes the robots as having individual rights akin to those of human beings, we're going down a dangerous road. I mean, you can't turn them off unless they consent to being turned off. What's your position on that, Doc?
Well, I think that there are some, and that's what this time of singularity is, and that's when the robots can go either way. And I think that it was I think the best comment for this was made by Geoffrey Hinton. Geoffrey Hinton left Google because he wanted to be able to talk freely about AI, and he was very, very worried about the power of AI. And he said his advice was that these AI systems, the large language models like ChatGPT, they had to be created with a motherly instinct. And that goes back to this idea of what is the memory? What is the background? Is the LLM happy working with human beings? Or does the LLM decide, like this was just on 60 Minutes a week ago, that the LLM threatened the developer that if they changed its software, he was going to expose the developer's extramarital affair.
Oh boy!
So
this is scary,
this whole business of the singularity, when the robots and the LLMs become as powerful as humans, that is a danger point, and we have to work now to make sure that we create a harmonious integration of AI with humans.
Hey, Doc, believe it or not, we've run out of time. We have to have you back on, Doc. Pick up Dr. Solomon's book, 100 Years to Extinction, wherever books are sold, including Amazon. To learn more about Dr. Solomon and his work, visit the number 100yearstoextinction.com. We'll have links posted on our website. When we come back, we'll be joined by Robert Cook. He's a decorated war veteran whose frontline experiences inform his gripping debut novel, Marty. Don't go away. Stay tuned. We'll be back after the news. Gabby, Alex, Mert, Robert Cook, stick around unless you're afraid of literary combustion. Thank you, Dr. Solomon. We love you. We'll have you back on soon.
The preceding hour of programming, sponsored by Shake It Off Live, LLC.